It's used by the Jewish community at Passover, and in Greek mythology, it was said to be worth its weight in gold. But most of us today restrict ourselves to heaping a spoonful on our roast beef. It's horseradish, of course, but what's it got to do with horses? Well, the Germans call it Meerrettisch, meaning a radish that grows by the sea, and it's been speculated that our name might be a corruption of mere to mare to horse. But it's more likely that it derives from the medieval habit of using the word horse to name larger and coarser plants that resemble others, like horse daisy or horse parsley. So in effect, horseradish means coarser root. This farm started growing horseradish 6 years ago, after searching for another product that would complement their main crop of potatoes. It's a bit of a niche crop, isn't it?
Certainly is in the UK, but if you were to go over to America, it's huge. They grow thousands of acres over there, and they eat it with a lot of different meats. It's in a lot of their fast food joints, and they even mix it in with cranberry sauce for their turkey. In some respects, we were looking to preempt that new flavour that people were looking for. Going back 10 years ago, a chili revolution happened, and I genuinely believe that horseradish could be that next flavour.
So what is it that gives horseradish that familiar fiery burst?
The heat is actually an enzyme within the plant, and when that's oxygenated or the skin itself is broken, that's what gives you a hit in the nose. So help yourself.
Right, and there's the heat, right
Good.
on the edge of my tongue. And if I start weeping now, it's not out of emotion, it's as a testament to your horseradish.
Oh, thank you very much.
Horseradish used to be grown much more extensively in the UK, but it's a tricky crop to manage profitably, taking 18 months to reach maturity. Harvesting usually begins in November, after the frosts have started to break down the foliage.
A bit like a parsnip or a swede. When that foliage dies back, it does a lot of its growing and the actual flavour comes through better.
Is it difficult to harvest it?
It is difficult to harvest. It's very labour intensive. A lot of the sorting we do is all by hand, and finding machinery to do the actual job is very difficult. It's a very volatile product, and actually when we're harvesting we've got to be very careful not to release that, because we need all that heat to be saved for the processing of the root.
I really like horseradish, but in this country we tend to use it in a very limited way. Perhaps with so much ready-made horseradish sauce on the supermarket shelves, we're a little nervous of taking on such a volatile ingredient. I've come to get some tips from local chef Clyde Hollett, who often uses horseradish to complement his daily specials. It is still a pungent ingredient, isn't it?
Very much so, yeah, very much so.
So do you have to take precautions when cooking with it?
It can be similar to onions, similar to shallots, that sort of thing, can inflame the nose and the eyes slightly. It's not as bad as maybe the old wives' tales would say, but it does lose its potency. Something that we do in the restaurant just to keep that potency to it when we make horseradish creme fraiche for certain dishes is we put it in vinegar first, because that keeps the flavour and the freshness.
So there's a tip there, put it in vinegar and
a little bit, yeah.
Stabilises it.
That's right, yeah. Or just keep it airtight.
Some people are a bit concerned about how much to actually use. How much is this piece weigh?
So that's about 350, 400 grams we've got there. When we make dishes in the restaurant, we try and work on about 200 grams per pint of milk or cream or creme fraiche or whatever we're deciding to put in it.
So about half that piece?
That's correct, yeah.
Clyde's added fresh horseradish to Dauphinoise potatoes for me to try. He also recommends a fiery creme fraiche served with mackerel. I'm used to Dauphinoise being just a very soft, mellow dish, but the great thing about horseradish in there is it adds a real kick of fire just at the end and a real dense flavour. And it works brilliantly with the mackerel too. Look, there's nothing wrong with buying horseradish sauce ready-made in a jar, but I guarantee that if you use the fresh stuff, you'll get a flavour you will not forget in a hurry. I'm looking for some alternative uses for this feisty vegetable that might put a bit of bite in your diet.